The Hawks went toe-to-toe. The stage was set. The Thunder rolled in. And where their mission met, the Hawks went toe-to-toe. The stage was set. The Thunder rolled in. But was their mission met? Fast breaks, deep threes, the crowd was on blast. Who rose up and who couldn't last? Let's get into this post-game show. Welcome back to Hawks Digest, everyone. I am Chris Tipmore. Happy to see you all again. Make sure you guys take off your shoes, leave on your socks, and we're going to get into this post-game talking about Hawks versus Thunder on a City Edition night. You see I got my hat on right here, City Edition of Atlanta Hawks. But before we get into that, guys, got to give you guys a shout out because yes, we are still progressing. Now it has slowed down just a bit, but I'm pretty sure it's going to pick right back up in any minute now. Thank you guys to the 18.9% who are already subscribed. And if you are a part of that 81%, almost getting close into the 70s, please come on over and make Hawks Digest your first listen when you want that Hawks content, you dig? Right now, his name is Kevon Harris, and Mr. Harris is a seasoned veteran. He has played in the NBA before with the Orlando Magic, even going down to their G League franchise and performing as well. But this season for the College Park Skyhawks, Kevon Harris has been off the charts. And I went down and seen the Skyhawks play a game myself. He had a good game that night. 27 years of age, averaging 19 points in 31 minutes. Also, almost 7 rebounds and almost 4 assists. The Atlanta Hawks signed him to a 10-day contract, and we're going to see what he can provide for our Atlanta Hawks moving forward. That was a big thing for me because I was wondering how long would it really take for him to possibly make that jump to the Atlanta Hawks from the Skyhawks, and now he's going to get his opportunity. He also shined when he went to San Francisco dealing with the All-Star game and the in the We Got Next tournament. He won the MVP there. We'll see if he can come in and help these Atlanta Hawks possibly start to string together some wins because, again, as we're about to get into the game review, guys, you already know. Game review. The Atlanta Hawks took on the OKC Thunder, Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. And, it's in our second matchup against them this season. Of course, the first go-round, it was more so of a blowout. Remember, the Hawks, they stayed with them for 3 quarters. And then, like, the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, it was dismal. They absolutely took off on the Atlanta Hawks and, blew us out. This game right here, which also felt similar to the last game that the Atlanta Hawks just played. But this game right here, Chet Holmgren, he had he coming back off an injury for the against the Atlanta Hawks for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And he missed, quite a few games. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander came out doing his thing. Aaron Wiggins. It was just so baffling because I know he's mostly like a 3-point shooter, mostly from what I've seen from them. But he had 24 points coming off the bench. Oklahoma City, in that first quarter, guys, just absolutely having their way. It's like they couldn't miss. And we already know that Oklahoma City, they can put the ball in the basket. They're number 1 seed for back-to-back seasons now for a reason. That coach over there, he doesn't get enough credit for how he's taken that team from the bottom and, rose them to the top. Now, of course, the front office has done their job as well. So Oklahoma City is a young team. They're the number 1 seed. You knew coming into this game it was going to be tough sledding for the Atlanta Hawks anyway, And you lost this game by 16. And I want to dive into that a little bit as well on how you even got there. Second quarter was, I think, the Hawks' overall best quarter as far as pace, as far as like getting out, making the Oklahoma City Thunder, turn the ball over, get real sloppy. That was like the best quarter for me to me. Don't get me wrong. The fourth quarter was decent as far as like trying to come back, and it just seemed like they would get close. The Hawks would get close, and then Oklahoma City, one of their players, would just do something to either get in the lane, drawing contact, drawing the foul, or knocking down wide open threes from passes, or just even stepping into them because Oklahoma City, after a while, they got real cocky, especially in that. Every quarter was I seen multiple shots to where it was just like, yeah, we're like that. And again, they're the number one seed, and they came in and proved it tonight. Even though the Hawks did what they always do, what is that? We fight, we be resilient. But again, moral victories do nothing for our standings because at the end of the day, we're running out of time. As I said in my last video, we're running out of time, and the Hawks have to do something at ASAP if we're going to start trying to make a climb out of the play-in. The AKA the Atlanta Hawks Invitational. So, to my point, it's about we're losing this game 135 to 119. You lost this game by 16 points. Let's dive into it. 54 to 56, that's the points in the paint. The Atlanta Hawks won that yet again. We normally do. We normally do. Fast break points. 23 for Oklahoma City. 14 for our Atlanta Hawks. Okay. Their biggest lead, OKC, was 27. The Hawks, they didn't have a lead. Also, there were no lead changes in this game. There were never even times where the game was tied. Oklahoma City controlled this game from the begin to the end. Okay? So that hurts, that hurts right there. Moving forward, bench points. We did win the bench points, and I'm going to get to those guys in a minute. Shout out to the bench mob, the new bench mob, and George Niang, Terrence Mann, and Karis LeVert. But 53 to 49 in favor of our Atlanta Hawks. Points, the turnovers, though. The turnovers, 11 for Oklahoma City, 19 for our Atlanta Hawks as a team. Points off turnovers, 19 for Oklahoma City, 12 for our Atlanta Hawks. You lost this game by 16. The points off turnovers, you lost that by 7. And you lost the fast break points by 9. Combined, that's 16 points. So, it's not just solely there. I mean, we missed 5 free throws. They missed 2. That wasn't just a big factor. The factor was us having 19 turnovers in this game. Again, and also giving up yet another 20-plus three-point performance. Now, Oklahoma City, they jacked them up for sure. But they shot 46% from 3 tonight, guys. 46%. 23 of 50. Back-to-back games giving up over 23s. And if you guys watched my last video, hopefully you guys did. And if you didn't, you can go back and check out that game review as well. There's 3 things that the Atlanta Hawks, when it happens, they normally don't win the game. If they have 20 plus or close to 20 turnovers, as they did tonight with 19. If they give up 20 plus threes, as they did tonight, giving up 23. And also, if we miss double-digit free throws or just a high number of free throws as well, that's another time when the Atlanta Hawks will lose. And tonight you had 2 things working against you. 19 turnovers and 23 made three-pointers. I don't know who in the world you beat if you're not keeping up with that type of pace. And again, the Hawks, give them credit fighting against the Oklahoma City, the top seed, trying to see about the measuring stick. And it just almost feels like the Hawks, so they just need a little bit more firepower. That's where you wish you still had Jalen Johnson. Not saying that he is the end-all, be-all, but he gives you a better chance, especially getting downhill, the things that he's doing. Gives you at least someone else on the defensive end who can help out. Not saying that he is the defensive deacon like Dyson Daniels is, but still, just that option on the floor, you're missing it. It's even one sports analyst. He even called us Jalen-less, and that's how he pretty much summed up. You know, what I'm saying the rest of our season, we're Jalen-less. But it's more factors to just that. I mean, even when Jalen Johnson was here, the Hawks wasn't just a lights out defensive team. You know, maybe we was a little bit better, maybe, but we wasn't lights out. It wasn't like a super bad defensive team, as in a good way. When I say super bad, we wasn't one of those, you know, saying world beaters on defense, even with Jalen. It's just you missed that scoring and that pop factor. Also, somebody else who can bring the ball up the floor, make some things happen, like Dyson Daniels is doing, and I'm liking the things that he's doing from the point guard position as well. And Hawks fans should like that as well because we don't have a secondary point guard consistently. Now, Keaton Wallace, I like him, but of course, they like Dyson Daniels handling the ball a little bit more because he can do more off the dribble. He's also has the length, the size, you know, so over Keaton Wallace, and just the most consistency. I mean, if Keaton Wallace was doing the same things that Dyson was doing on the other end, on the defensive end, then maybe you would see Keaton a little bit more. But of course, Dyson is the end-all, be-all when it comes to leading the charge for the defense for our Atlanta Hawks. So, also the turnovers, just getting right back into it. We had 7 turnovers from our rookie Zaccharie Risacher. 7. We only had 3 from Trae tonight. For all those who be tripping on Trae, he only had 3 turnovers tonight. We had 7 from Zaccharie Risacher. I feel like tonight was a game to where he took some lumps, and ultimately, like, he's going to grow from it. Zaccharie Risacher is definitely going to grow from it. He is still yet a great player, a great young man who is growing and who will continue to grow for our Atlanta Hawks. Keep giving him reps. He needs to get all this out now. He needs to get the bad game. He needs to have this experience. Like, regardless, I feel like, you know, the personnel is the personnel right now, y'all. And our ceiling is the 7th seed. You know, that's the best that I feel like this Atlanta Hawks team can get to at this point of the season with only a few, not a lot of games left, about 20, 21, 22 games left. So we're running out of time regardless of the games left. We're running out of time. And you might as well give your rookie as many opportunities, many oppos as possible. That's why I'm glad that he had almost 32 minutes tonight. Even though he was 4 of 10, 40%, 2 of 6 from the three-point line, he still gave you 12 points, still gave you 9 rebounds. Rebounds is something that you need because you didn't get a lot of them from Clint Capela in his minutes, even though, you know, so I'm going to give my individual shout-out to Onyeka Okongwu here in a second, guys. Now, let's move on to these individual performances, as a matter of fact. So, Dyson Daniels, again, like, I want to talk about him briefly. He was 50%. He missed 2 free throws. He didn't shoot any threes tonight, but he still got you 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He had a lot to do tonight. He had to deal with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, J-Dub, as they like to call him over there, Jalen Williams. It was Isaiah Joe. They had a lot of shooters over there that we had to defend for, so Dyson Daniels was very busy. You had Lou Dort with 20 points tonight. You know what I'm saying? That's tough to go against. The Hawks had 7 guys in double figures. But the only problem was OKC had 6-7 guys in double figures themselves. And the Hawks just are not going to be able to get it done like that with all those turnovers and giving up all those threes because the Hawks only made 15 tonight. Now, the Hawks have won games when they've hit 15 threes, but tonight just wasn't one of those nights. So, you definitely want to see what the Hawks can do moving forward because I'm going to show you the schedule of what we got of our next 8 games in a moment. All right, again, individual performances. Dyson Daniels, ultimately, again, like I said, I love what he's doing from the point guard role and the secondary point guard role, and ultimately he is going to be a focal point very important piece moving forward, going not only for the rest of this season, but moving forward as well. So is this guy, I believe. Karis LeVert, even though he is on an expiring contract, I really don't see how you don't bring back Karis LeVert. At this point, I mean, I'm going to do a video as well for you guys, and as far as reviewing a few days, after the trade, like about 10 games into, after the trade, we're 9 games in, so after the next game, most likely how you guys are feeling about the trade and everything. But still, like Karis LeVert, I don't know how you don't re-sign him. I don't know how you don't offer him something, because the guy had 23 points tonight. so focal tonight, man. So focal. 9 of 16. 3 of 9 from the three. So you do wish he had hit a little bit more threes. But at the end of the day, this guy gave you 23 points off the bench, leading the charge for the bench mob. Him and George Niang and Terrence Mann. Like I told you, I was going to get into those guys. All 3 of those guys contributed off the bench. 14 for Niang, 13 for Terrence Mann with back-to-back. Now back-to-back games with double-digit points. You like to see it. All 3 of those guys are showing that they can be pieces for this Atlanta Hawks team. Like, this is not a finished product. This is just us trying to work it out, trying to figure it out. And the Atlanta Hawks, so they have these 3 guys that they could possibly bring, and bring into the future with Trae Young. If he decides to stay. Just being real. Next is a guy that I really have to give love to, because he had such a great game tonight, I think, overall. It just, we were playing the Thunder. And that's Onyeka Okongwu. Yeah, man, double O, man. 23 points, 13 rebounds, a double-double, 11 defensive rebounds, 9 of 12, 75%. Even hit a 3. He was 1 of 2 from there. Hit all his free throws. I can't complain about Onyeka Okongwu at all. 2 assists as well. He had 4 fouls. That's probably like the only knock really against him. And he had 3 turnovers as well. But he even gave you a block. Overall, Onyeka Okongwu in 34 minutes, he was pretty solid for the most part. So, I give my shout out to Onyeka Okongwu as well. He doing his thing, Also, lastly, I told you guys I was going to bring it up. We could put it up here for you guys. And this is the next 8 games for our Atlanta Hawks. We have the Memphis Grizzlies. We're heading to them on Monday. We play them in Memphis. Next after that, we have the Bucks coming home. Back-to-back games with the Pacers. So we got 3. Actually, we have a 6-game homestand, which would be the longest homestand for the Atlanta Hawks here, playing the Bucks. Then you got the Pacers on back-to-back games, not back-to-back nights, but back-to-back games. You have the Sixers, who just lost Joel Embiid for the rest of the season. We'll see what that brings. The Hornets, who has been a thorn into your side, but you've been actually able to win a game against them this year. We'll see what happens with that. The Clippers, you already know, back in L.A., they had their way with the Atlanta Hawks. Brooklyn Nets, that's always a battle with them. And not pictured is another matchup with the Hornets. And also, the Golden State Warriors are coming to State Farm Arena as well. So that's really like your next 10 games. Very, very important stretch going on right here. Hawks have the most games at home that they've had this season. So it's going to be a very important stretch for these Atlanta Hawks moving forward. We'll see what they can do. If they can at least split this, it may bode well. But really, being 27 and 33, we already know the Hawks, they have to at least win this, win majority of these games. If the Atlanta Hawks can at least go, let's say 7 and 3 somehow, in the next 10 games, they can look a little better. They can look a little better, seriously, because that would only be 36 losses. We have 33 right now. And, of course, will gain you more wins, of course. So you'll be like 34 and 36 if you can go 7 and 3 in the next 10 games. So can they do it? That remains to be seen. but at least we do have the opportunity. The Hawks are just like right there, guys. It just feels like we're just so right there. But ultimately, just not enough firepower, just not enough defense, not enough boxing out, not enough rotation, switching, communicating, and too many open threes for one of the best teams in the league. You just can't have that. And you darn sure can't have 19 turnovers, regardless of who it's coming from on this team. You can't have that high number of turnovers. Tonight it was Zaccharie Risacher. But at the end of the day, guys, we have to continue to just try to continue to execute, guys. That's our best bet to do. Just try to continue to execute and push forward because we still have an opportunity to get into the play-in. We still have an opportunity to get into at least good positioning like the 7th seed or the 8th seed, because you don't want to have like that elimination game to where it just could be just one and done. You at least want to get to the 7th seed or the 8th seed, so you at least it can have a cushion just in case you possibly may lose a game. You at least have at least a little cushion in the 7th and 8th spot. But of course, we ultimately know this is not a place that we want to be in the 7th or 8th spot. Hey guys, all I can say is keep your optimism. We still do have games. This is going to be a tough stretch, but I'm definitely can't wait to see what we're going to be looking like by the end of that Golden State Warriors game at State Farm Arena. It's coming soon. It'll be here before you know it. We have some games to get through, but I'm optimistic. But I will see where we are by then, and then I'll let you know where I'm at as far as where the rest of the season goes by then. But until we get there, man, thank you guys for making Hawks Digest one of your first listens. Again, being the 18th percentile, thank you so very much. Salute. And if you're still in that 80th percentile, I advise you to please, do yourself a favor and do us a favor and make a Hawks Digest one of your first listens when you want that Hawks content. No matter what it is, how big or how small, we like to talk about it all here at Hawks Digest. Until next time, guys, peace and blessings. I am Chris Tipmore. Peace.